Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, donuts and munchkins, welcome back to another episode of Eat the Donut. I have a very, very special guest on with me today. I can't talk right now, but we'll figure it out. One take show. But Mr. Travis, he was probably one of my first 1 to 2 clients when I shifted to online training. And he stuck with me for whatever reason. I don't know what's so crazy about him that he stuck with me when I was first kind of learning this whole online business and online coaching situation. But he stuck with me and he worked his ass off and got some pretty incredible results. So that's why I'm having him on board today, just to share to you a little bit about his story and what things maybe worked well for him that can maybe help you. But Travis, what is going on, man?
What's going on, brother? Good to see you, Kev.
Good to see you too. And for those of you who are watching on YouTube, Travis is wearing an OG KPD Fit shirt. He obviously cut the sleeves off of it, totally gave him permission. Even if I didn't give him permission, I think he would have done it anyways because he's always a sleeveless
I don't
monster.
I don't wear sleeves.
No, you
I got
can't.
I got I got a little bit of the tism. I can't stand them.
Yeah, yeah. You got to show off those pipes too. You got to show off those guns, of course.
Yeah,
But I love it. Well, Travis, thank you so much for coming on this. I really appreciate it.
no problem, brother. Anything for you.
Well, I
I don't
appreciate
know what good it's going to do you, but I'm here for you.
we don't know where this is going to go, but we'll see. Whatever it takes,
I
whatever
could
comes
probably bring
up.
in at least maybe two more listeners for you, something like maybe three. My wife's in a good mood.
There you go. There you go. I love that. We'll take it. I'll take what I can get, one at a time, two at a time, whatever we can get here. But anyway, so Travis, obviously your story is pretty impressive. Like just kind of giving some input. I know you've dropped over like 100 pounds, making some not only incredible like physical transformation, but I know mentally when we were working together, like talking through how much you've changed as a better person. But before we get into that, can you kind of give us a little bit of a background of what life looked like before you started your own fitness journey?
Yeah, I mean, I've always been on the bigger side. Even as a kid, I wasn't fat, but I was always chubby. I like food. Give
Yeah,
me a Dorito, I'll be your best friend for a while. But
same.
and yeah, so I powerlifted quite a bit. I guess early 2000s or whatever. I was in pretty good shape. I was pretty strong.
Hmm.
Still always had a belly because I really love food, but
Sure.
you know, but I was strong. I was healthy. I felt pretty good. I was smoking. I haven't felt good since I quit smoking, but not that I always quit. But I'm just saying. But so I got a hernia powerlifting because I lifted like an idiot and quit smoking. And the hernia surgery didn't go well at all.
Hmm.
And I was down for 3 months, a little more, something like that, maybe 4 months, and I got pretty depressed.
Hmm.
And I've got a great family that cooked me some really good food,
Hmm.
and I ate my feelings and I ate the nicotine instead of, I ate the food instead of the nicotine, and I
Yeah.
blew up really quick. So I know when we were together, I always said my highest weight was around 370,
Hmm.
but I got to looking here just a month or two ago, I was at least 385.
Wow.
And I'm guessing that I probably just quit weighing. So if I had to guess, I'd say I was really close to 400 pounds at one time.
Sure. Sure. Yeah, just kind of hit a point where it's like, well, it's only going up. Like, this isn't making me feel any better. But I know it's pretty crazy. Like, what it sounds like is there was a period of your life where it was just a lot changing and a lot kind of pulling you down, right? You going from, quitting smoke and hernia surgery, like just a lot of things happening. And, you also made this switch, right? I always like to talk about like habit switches. It's like, hey, it's not the easiest thing to just go cold turkey on some things, right? You typically make a switch. So, someone who might emotionally eat, it's like, hey, let's make a switch and go for a walk, like a healthy sort of switch, right? But you did make a switch. It went from like, hey, I'm someone who's going to quit smoking, but then that comfort came from food, right? So it's like, all right, we
Yeah.
started leaning
Yeah.
on that. Where, it's one of those things that's great that you stop smoking. Like that's very hard in itself as well. But then it turned into this habit of eating, which then what we created awareness of over time started to impact your health, in a different
Everything.
way.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what was the moment, or maybe it's a situation or a combination of things that you finally said, like, all right, I need to make a change?
I think I just hit the point where I was so miserable. I was making everybody around me miserable. I was being a terrible husband,
Hmm.
terrible father. Didn't feel like anything I did was good enough or right. And I was not happy with myself, and I was not being the person that I knew I could be for my family and, and for my friends. And it was, the kids were still somewhat young when I started with you, and I was just a miserable person, and
Sure.
something had to change because they deserve better.
Yeah. Did you just come to that awareness like one morning where it's like shit has kind of just
Yeah,
been tough?
yeah, that's just kind of the way I am. I'll ponder on stuff for a while, and it's like, okay, here it is, and it was just there. Yeah, it's time to do something. And the biggest thing is I try still to this day to do everything on my own.
Sure.
I don't ask for help. I don't want help. I don't think I need help,
Yeah.
even though I do, you know.
It's always funny. I think that's pretty common for a lot of men is, kind of man up, right? Just like deal with it, suck it up. And I think there's a level to having some, mental toughness and everything. But I think, you taking that uncomfortable step and asking for help is impressive. I think it shows courage, whereas like I think that shows courage for anyone. I'm a very sentimental, emotional guy. I
Yeah,
always joke to Shannon, I'm the drama queen of the relationship, but anyways, Mrs. Coach, as you call her. Um, but I think that's tough. But that does show a lot of courage on your end, being willing to ask for help. And I'm sure it's still a struggle because it's a pattern, right? These patterns that are
yeah,
ingrained into us are tough to break. But being willing to get help and ask for help, to, like you said, just kind of being sick and tired of being sick and tired and wanting to change for the better to show up for your family, your friends, for people around you. So you just know something needed to click and something needed to change. And so we just make it happen. And you took the right step, right?
yeah.
For
I
sure.
guess I first met you through LFL.
Yep.
Yeah, that's where we first got together.
Yeah.
And I didn't want help, but I knew obviously I was failing on my own. So
Yeah.
I was hoping it would get with somebody that I could click with.
Yeah.
And at first, I was like, man, this guy's young. He's energetic. He's from north somewhere, because I'm a redneck. I'm like, I don't know if it's. I told my wife, I don't know if it's gonna work or not, but I'm gonna give it the honest shot. And I
Yeah.
love you to death.
Oh, dude, I
The
love you
best
too.
decisions I made.
Awesome. Well, what was the point? I'm sure the listeners would love to hear it. Like, was there any point that sort of was like, all right, maybe not to say like maybe I was wrong, but like to say, all right, this kid's okay. Like, he's a pain in the ass and he's annoying, but like I'll stick with him.
No, I mean, you were always great. I think you called it Kevin's Killers or something like
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
And
that's
that
the
was the
group
first
name.
thing I was like, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to handle this guy calling me a killer. But it's just your personality. I mean, you're an awesome dude, and
I appreciate that.
that was the initial thing. Like, I'm just an old crotchety redneck guy, right? I was still 400 pounds and mean and hateful, and
Yeah,
and I just found out I'd had diabetes.
sure.
After I'd already lost some weight before I seen you,
Hmm.
and it was, hey, we're gonna try it. And I'm gonna. He might annoy me a little bit with his exuberance, but we're gonna try it and find out.
Hey, I'm not everyone's cup of tea, but I'm glad he gave me a shot.
Oh,
It's
you're a great dude.
it's that Bostonian me. I gotta call everyone. We don't use the R's, we use I's. So Killers.
Oh, I know.
But anyways, so first starting up Travis, when I guess we sort of first started working towards your goals, did anything feel really challenging at first? Like, was there anything that felt hard?
Uh, well, I mean, the exercises itself. Sorry
Hmm.
about that.
You're
The
good.
exercise itself, we're fine. The eating part and the all or nothing mentality was
Hmm.
the biggest switch I had to make.
Hmm.
I mean, I still don't like vegetables. Okay, I told you you'd never get me to eat one, and I ate them for a while. But right now, I'm pretty much carnivore, animal based type. I eat a lot of fruit, but I'm animal based, I guess what they call it. I don't know. I don't put
Yeah,
labels on stuff.
sure.
Uh, but the all or nothing mentality was the biggest hurdle I had at the beginning. That and
Hmm.
asking for help, obviously. Yeah.
Sure. Sure. Yeah, it's funny because I remember one of the it's probably like 6 months to a year in when we were working together. I remember in a write-up you wrote is you're like, I hate vegetables. Like vegetables suck. But then you're like, hey, I've been eating spinach every day. Like that's just been the game plan. But like even now,
Oh,
like
even now, I'll still eat spinach with my steak
yeah,
and eggs. Yeah,
yeah. So it's like you just got to find what works for you, whether that's spinach every day or similar to you, Travis. Like I'm a big fruit person. Like I prefer
yeah,
fruit over vegetables. Doesn't mean I don't get my vegetables in. Again, we're not like cutting them out completely, but it's like you just got to find what works. And if we're getting some sort of fruit and vegetables, because the big reason of it is one, it's volume foods. Two, there's vitamins and minerals in it. Three, there's fiber in it. Like that's things our body needs. So however we can get those things in and what works for you, it's we're always trying to find um that I call it the Goldilocks zone, where it's like, the story of Goldilocks, where it's like, what's the just right amount? Like, what this
yeah.
portion is too hot, this is too cold, this is just right. We're trying to find your Goldilocks zone where it's like, all right, where can we take care of our health but enjoy life as well? Like, where do we find that middle ground?
And
Um,
my biggest thing was and this was maybe a little all I did or a journey, not at the beginning, but meal prep has been one of the biggest blessings ever.
yeah.
Meal prep is really important.
How so?
Uh, it's of course I know me and you've talked, me and you've talked off and on even after I left you, but
Yeah.
that the Atomic Habits book,
Mm-hmm.
I can go in on a Saturday or Sunday and I can make all my meals for lunch and dinner, and I have no decisions to make.
Sure.
I don't have to go somewhere and walk by a Reese cup. I don't have to go somewhere and see a soda pop I don't want to drink.
Yep.
I've already got it. I get up and I automatically throw them in my bag, and the meals are done, and I know it's
Yeah.
what I need to be eating.
Yeah, I love that. Planning is literally a superpower when it comes to discipline. Like if you can plan really good, and obviously there's levels of planning, right? There's just knowing what you're going to eat. There's layers of like having the ingredients readily available. There's a layer of like meal prepping every single meal to a T. And there's even levels of having every single meal ready for the week. Like it just again depends on the
Yeah.
person and what is going to work best for them. But when you do such a simple I'll say simple, not easy. Obviously, it takes effort and work to cook everything up and batch everything up. But when you can do something so simple as meal prep, you realize how easier other aspects get, where it's like, oh, I'm not now making so many decisions and thinking about food so often of what am I going to have next versus, all right, I'm going to invest in this one day, these 2 days to get everything ready. And then it's just like takes away the thinking during the week. So it's just, all right, let's just execute. Like now I can put my time and energy into other areas of my life. So I love that. Now, when you're sort of on this journey, what were some of the, I guess, maybe first wins or signs of progress that you noticed or that helped you stay motivated?
Well, I think we started either late June or 1st of July,
Hmm.
and we hadn't been. We were still working on the meal plan and stuff. We hadn't been together a couple of weeks, and I went on vacation.
Hmm.
I thought, okay, here it goes. Every time I've ever, I had lost weight successfully and kept it off for a few months, and then Thanksgiving came, and then Christmas came, and then vacations came, and then it was Tuesday, and and it was the all or nothing mentality. So when I didn't weigh the whole week, I did find a gym which I'd never done before in
Hmm.
Gettysburg, and I'd worked out at least 3 or 4 days that week. And when I come back, I had actually lost 5 pounds. I'm like, holy crap, I might be able to do this.
Yeah. Yeah. Was
That
it,
was that was the big first win for me.
yeah, was there anything outside of or maybe it was just like the movement and working out and walk around or whatnot, but was there anything that you felt like helped while you were on vacation continue the process or just create this awareness of like coming back afterwards where it's like, hey,
It it was awareness of I didn't just take okay, well I'm on vacation. I know I just started, but I'm going to eat what I want. Eat whatever, everything starchy. But I mean, I made conscious decisions for extra protein.
mhm,
I ate broccoli almost every day down there, which is something I'd never eaten before.
sure.
Uh, I found baby spinach when I was up there when I was up in Pennsylvania.
Hmm.
But it was just an awareness that hey, I can be disciplined at what I'm doing and still enjoy myself and still enjoy the vacation, still enjoy the family.
Hmm.
Because we were busy down there, but it wasn't a walking vacation. We
Sure.
we did some walking, but it wasn't. I do a lot more walking when we go to the beach.
Sure.
just because I like walking.
Yeah.
That's just one of the habits I've picked up. I walk everywhere I can. So
Yeah. I love that. But it's funny how what I'm getting is like this mental shift you made is I'm gonna eat the food. Like I'm gonna eat the good food, right? But I'm just gonna make sure I get a lot of protein in and I'm at least getting broccoli and our vegetables and our fruit in. So it's just, even though it's like we give ourselves permission, right, to eat whatever we want, and then we just add this sort of, let's call it a rule, where it's like, all right, I'm gonna eat whatever I want. I'm just gonna make sure I get lots of protein and vegetables in. So it's like I'm still gonna have, the desserts. I'm still gonna have, the French fries and all these things, right? The higher calorie foods that we overconsume. I'm just gonna have all these things, but I'm just gonna at least make sure I have these first, or at least have these as well. And sometimes, again, just making that little switch, because this is even you're talking a lot about this all or nothing mentality, but like you getting reps in of not being all or nothing as well. Like you're not being like, hey, I'm only gonna eat desserts or I'm only eating, broccoli and chicken. Like there's this sort of combination where it's like, hey, we're somewhere in the middle now, which is ideally where we want to be. Now, you do talk a lot about like being all or nothing when we first started. What when trying to find the right question here, like what helped you work away from that or get some reps and start to be like, hey, I don't have to be all or nothing. Or like, hey, I feel better with finding this middle ground versus being all in or all out.
you, yeah, you talking me off the ledge when I would start getting that way. I would recognize it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, well, this guy's helping me. He's a cool dude. So I would send you a pitiful text or a pitiful message. Hey,
Sure.
struggling, and you would talk me down off the ledge. I mean, it's simple as that. Till I got it in my mind.
Mm-hmm.
And my mind's like a bear trap. Once it's
Sure.
closed, nothing gets in or out. So
Mm-hmm.
uh, you talked me off the ledge enough to where it became just what I do now. It's
Sure.
it's just and it's changed other areas of my life. It's not just food.
Sure. Yeah,
It's changed my mentality.
for sure. Yeah, sometimes it's just a repetition game, right? It's like you're in that pattern, you're in that pattern, but for you, what it sounds like is having that accountability of like, hey, let's come back quicker. Let's not let this drag on for a week or a month. Just that reminder, just to be like, all right, rather than letting this drag on for a month or a week or however long, it was a day, 2 days, however long it was. And it's like, all right, let's get right back on track. We're right back on track. We're continuing on. We make it a little bit, right? We fall off track again. Hey, let's get you back on track as soon as possible, get you back on track. And those moments kind of happen over and over. And it's ideally we're trying to get them to like slow down and spread out. And you're just going through the repetition till you eventually start to realize like, oh, the accountability is really good, but now I feel like I'm getting just even 5% more confident in my ability to now get back on track and knowing like this one day slip up, this one meal slip up wasn't anything huge, right? Um, just getting that repetition over and over again is like a big part of this. Like no matter what, when it comes to changing a habit, changing a behavior, changing a pattern, this shit doesn't, it's not an on and off switch. It doesn't just switch on overnight and you get it. You get better at it through repetition, like walking
Yeah,
more. You get better at being intentional, put in effort. And like, yeah, it's kind of hard. It can suck at first, but the more reps you get in, the less it starts to suck, the more over time you start to get used to it. And it just becomes what you do, right?
yeah, yeah. And I mean, just it's no longer an all or nothing mentality on pretty much anything. And
Yeah.
the habit of walking helps me clear my mind, allows me to pray closer to God. I mean,
Mhm.
I've went, which you've already know this, but I mean, I went from high 7A1C to I'm technically under diabetes level. I'm not even pre-diabetic right now.
Yeah. That's
So,
huge.
you know,
Yeah. I know that's an incredible change you made, but like kudos to you. Like just simply making these couple changes here and there. And again, being consistent and you gave it a good effort. Like you're giving it even a good effort. Like you're kicking ass. And just to change even things like that. Like, yeah, obviously like the weight loss is cool. Like the changing, the physical change. But when you're also putting years back on your life just from that as well, like the health actual changes, I mean, this
and,
is what it's all
and
about.
quality back in those years.
Yeah.
I feel I'm having neck problems. Like we could talk about last year being a year from hell, but
Sure.
uh, I'm having neck problems now. But still, overall, if I don't have a migraine, I feel good. I don't have any
Yeah.
more stomach pain. Very
Right.
little. Even though I gained some weight last year back, I've still lost over 100 pounds.
Yeah.
I'm down 20 pounds since the beginning of the year. So
Awesome.
I'm back on. I'm back on doing what I'm supposed to be doing. I'm back in the gym. I started working out in the mornings and sometimes in the afternoons this week.
Yeah.
I just started a full morning routine all week
Nice.
long
Nice. I love
and get it
that.
done.
But like what's also needs to be noticed is you were able to maintain progress during a year of hell. Like and maintenance, as
Yeah.
you know, is a range. Like it can be 10 plus or minus pounds, roughly around that, maybe a little bit more, a little bit less. But it's not like you went through a year and you're back up to 385 pounds or 400 pounds, right? You like you kind of
No,
manage roughly where you were at. And
I
now,
gave myself leeway that
mhm,
as many health problems as I have, as many, family problems, sickness and stuff like that. I'm like,
yeah,
you're going to get up around 290 and then you're going to quit eating or I'm going to knock your teeth out or something because we're not going back to 300s no more.
yeah.
You're not going to live that life anymore unless there's a car laying on top of you. It's not going to happen.
Yeah, for sure. Because now it's like you experienced how much your life has changed, right? For the better. How
Yeah.
much more valuable things are how much better, like you were saying, the quality of your life is. So it's almost been this thing that you've ingrained where it's like, all right, yeah, things are creeping back up, but we're not going back to that old person. Like I will do
No,
what we have to do. Like you were very determined to make sure at least, hey, we're gonna get back on track. We're not going back that
yeah.
way. I love
Yeah.
that. I love that. Um, are there any habits or routines? I know you walk, go to the gym, eat your protein, eat your spinach, fruit. Um, but are any of those pretty non-negotiable for you, or is there anything else there that's pretty non-negotiable for you?
The protein is non-negotiable. Assuming I got plantar fasciitis in one foot, which is doing really well right now.
Good.
Assuming I can walk, walking's non-negotiable. It's
Sweet.
uh, I don't eat much for first break. I normally take a 15-minute walk. At lunch, I eat pretty quick, 5 or 10 minutes, and I take a half-hour walk.
Yeah.
I'm averaging at least 5 miles a day just walking.
Hmm.
But the protein is the non-negotiable, and really, unless there's some really crazy circumstances, meal prep is non-negotiable.
Yeah.
It's I kind of go crazy because I eat the same thing every day. I take either chopped steak or ground beef,
Hmm.
and I put different seasonings on it, and I mix it with scrambled eggs, and I portion it out to dishes, and
Hmm.
I eat that every day for lunch and breakfast every day. And I actually, my wife thinks I'm crazy because I can eat that same thing every day, all day long. But there's days I come home and eat another one. That's my
Yeah.
supper.
Yeah.
It's over 50 grams of protein, a lot of nutrients in the eggs,
Yep.
and I miss it if I don't have it. So that's the meal plan is a non-negotiable, really.
Yeah. Yeah, it's so funny too, where it just makes, again, we talked about this, but like it just makes life easier. Like one of the easiest tips I give some individuals, I'm like, eat the same shit every day. I'm not
Yeah,
saying you have to have the same exact shit. Maybe that works for some people, right? I know like you having the same meal works for you. That's great. But
doesn't
like
bother me.
you don't need a new meal every single meal of the day. You don't need, 10 different breakfasts. You don't need 10 different lunches. You don't need 10 different dinners. Make a menu for yourself. Pick maybe 1 to 2 to 3 options for breakfast, 1 to 2, 3 options for lunch. Maybe dinner's the variable that's different 5 times a week. But like if you just keep those things on a cycle, one, it gets easier to meal prep over time. Like at first it might be a little bit, but like just knowing how much you need to have, how much, what's in it, it just makes one tracking calories way easier, but just makes the whole planning and execution of that plan way easier as well because you have an idea and it's just not like you're looking up a new recipe every single day. It's funny too. Individuals will always ask me for a recipe book. And when you first started, like I didn't have one. Like I was like, we don't need a recipe book. Like, yeah, if you want, Google something. Literally Google something. There's plenty of recipe books out there. Eventually, until I made one, just because I got sick of people asking. So I'm like, here's 52 recipes. You're not going to make any of them anyways, but here you go. But
Yeah,
anyways, some people actually do make them, which is great. But for the most part, you just also have to figure out what you like and what you need. It's so individualized.
And I love to cook anyway, so
Hmm.
it wasn't. Even when I'm cooking for the family, I very rarely cook everything the same way twice. So
Sure.
I experiment, throw different stuff in, and hope it works out. If not, I just eat it and do something better next time.
Hmm.
So, but yeah, I mean, the meal prep is really non-negotiable.
Yeah.
My dinners vary because I've got a family, so I try to cook for them. Like I said, I love to cook. I do most cooking,
Yeah.
and I try to make it. They're not going to eat like I do. Like if it was up to me, if I was single, I would eat steak and eggs every day,
Love
all day
steak and
long, and
eggs.
it's probably all I'd eat.
Yeah.
That'd be it.
It's so
Yeah.
funny. Every time I make steak now, like we'll typically have it for like dinner on Mondays or some point during the week. But now I make extra steak so I can have steak and eggs in the morning. I love steak and
Yeah.
eggs. Definitely
Good
with like
stuff.
a nice runny yolk too, in my opinion, like a nice runny yolk with it and just dip the
Oh
steak in
yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
It's good stuff.
All right. We're turning this podcast into something freaky now.
A foodie.
Two men who just love food. Um, very cool. So Travis, talk to me a little bit of like specifically what in your lifestyle now are things that have changed? Like what are things, and what I mean by this is like what were things maybe you were having a hard time doing before versus things you are have the quality of life to do now?
I was not active at all.
Okay.
Uh, I really, really hated myself at my heaviest, especially.
Mhm.
And I was just miserable. I mean, my lifestyle now, of course, everybody has problems, but overall, I'm a happy guy now.
Yeah.
I have my moments, of course, but there's always problems. But I mean, overall, um, I guess the thing is that I'm actually proud of myself for something for once.
Wow.
You know,
Good for you.
just the biggest thing. Yeah.
That's awesome. That's deep. That's a just an awesome thing to hear because I think, we hear this cliche all the time, but we're our own worst critics, right? So it's hard to
Oh yeah.
sort of be proud of yourself. Um, but to kind of get that
Probably the
insight.
first time I've ever verbalized that, to be honest with you.
Wow. Well, good.
Kind of hit me a little bit there. Yeah.
That's
Oh,
good. But that's good. Like it's emotional, right?
yeah.
It's a tough thing. And again, like you were saying, it's you're not someone who wants to ask for help. You're not don't need anyone, right? Not to say you don't need anyone, but you sort of go with that mentality of like it's just me. I got to figure this out. I got to man up all these things. But
Mhm.
then just take a moment right there where it's holy shit, like let's reflect. Like I fucking worked my ass off and like where I was at 5 years ago versus where I'm at today is a big difference. And
Yeah.
I think it's good to every once in a while just reflect on where you're at and where you were at and where you're at now and just sort of appreciate that. Do you feel like your friends, family, or even kids like notice this change or
Oh yeah.
say
I
anything
mean,
about it?
yeah. I mean that person that I was, say 5 years ago, I guess. Yeah, they mention all the time I'm a lot happier person.
Mhm.
Wyatt, he's my youngest one. I got him one of these shirts, KDP
Yep.
fit shirts. Me and him, he's talking about habits now. When we go on vacation, the first thing we look for once we figure out is where's the gym at, what gym can we go
I
to,
love that.
and even my nephew, we all three go work out 2 or 3 mornings during vacation, go lift weights together. Uh, but yeah, he knows. I guess my overall demeanor, or they
Yep.
all have, but he's commented on my hands and my feet. He
Hmm.
says, "Wow, your hands and feet just look like a normal person's hands and feet now. They don't look swelled up and bloated."
Sure.
You know, yeah. I mean, people notice. I don't like bragging on myself or listening to compliments too much, but yeah,
Yeah.
they notice.
Good. Good, good, good. No, which we don't have to get into this if you don't want to, but I was wondering because again, I know we've talked about this a little bit, but talking about like how you're showing like beforehand, showing up for friends, family, the kids was challenging a while ago, right? And where now you're
Hmm.
showing up a lot more. What's that look like?
Oh, I'm doing. I've been busy. I've got a friend, my best friend from high school, just moved back from Seattle.
Hmm.
He's having some health problems. I've been going to his house a lot. I've been running a lot, helping. I help my in-laws. I help my mom. I help anybody that needs it.
Yeah.
And there's not a second guess. There's not a wonder if I could do
Hmm.
it. How tired am I going to be? I can go help people, and I love
Yeah.
helping people.
Yeah. So beforehand, it was just not having that energy to help people.
I didn't have the energy, and I definitely didn't have the self confidence. Even if it
Hmm.
was something I've done 100 times, I did not have the confidence in myself that I'd be able to do it. I just figured I'd screw it up somehow.
Yeah. Yeah. What do you think helped grow that confidence?
Being able to lose the weight, I had
Yeah.
lost all confidence in myself
Hmm.
because I looked at it as a failure because I had no control over myself, no discipline.
Hmm.
I gave up on everything. So
Hmm.
I was really aggravated with myself.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like even one of those things when you start showing up for yourself, you show up for others, right?
Yeah, can't pour from an empty cup.
Yeah, exactly. Perfect. Well said. Now, my last handful of questions here, Travis, is looking back at your journey, what's maybe like one piece of advice, or maybe there's a number one piece of advice you would give someone who maybe does feel stuck right now and doesn't know where to start?
Get help.
Get out.
Don't try to do it on your own. Get
Hmm.
help. Reach out to somebody you trust. Just get help. I mean, that's the big. If I'd never reached out to you, I would probably be dead by now, most likely from a heart attack or something. But
Hmm.
I would have never been able to do it on my own.
Yeah.
Not that I didn't do the work, but you provided the accountability and the shrinkage on my brain. You were my shrink, my
There,
accountability buddy, whatever you want to call it,
there you go.
to allow me to be able to do it myself. But yeah,
Yeah. Well, I'm
just reach
definitely
out, get
definitely
help.
far from a shrink,
Yeah,
but yeah,
call Kevin, he'll help you.
there you go. I appreciate that. But it's so funny, there's the way I think about it. I'm this goofy, high energy, let's call it person, but I am far from a handyman. Like, don't ask me to hang things on walls, I'm going to take the whole wall down. Don't ask me to change the oil, I'm going to break the transmission. So I always think about if I need help with my car, I need a mechanic or someone that knows about cars because I know nothing. If
Right.
I try to figure out my own, one, like if I Google, right, how to change my oil, there's probably 25 ways to do it. Maybe not. I'm just that dumb. I don't really know about cars, but maybe there's 25 ways to do it. Because in the fitness industry, right, you hear everything inside and out. You got to do it this way. You got to do it that way. You got to do it this way. Where I get why the consumer, why people who struggle are confused because it's like, well, this person said that, and this person said this, and those are two opposite different things. Like, what's the answer? So trying to have someone like guide you can just be very helpful. That's why I have a coach too. Like I have a coach who writes my program. I have a coach who helps me with other areas of my life. That's why I have a therapist too. Like I just struggle
Yeah.
with some things that I don't know how to solve and figure out or why I, act or react the way I do. So it's like, well, have someone get me to the root of this because I don't know what's going on. So I love that piece of advice. Now, if you are to share one thing with someone who's maybe struggling to stay consistent, maybe does struggle with that all or nothing mentality, but outside of maybe accountability, what is maybe another thing that could be helpful for them?
Give yourself some grace
Yep.
and don't try to change everything at once.
I love that.
Don't take away, right? So, I mean, your podcast is called Eat the Donut, right? Just,
Yeah.
don't eat the whole box.
Yeah.
Uh,
Even though I want to.
you don't, you don't have to take away your donuts. You don't have to take away, whatever your vice is that's really holding you back. Add in the protein, add in the veggies, add in the
Hmm.
healthy stuff.
Yep.
You'll have less time for the other stuff. There's
Yeah.
some stuff I ate for
Hmm.
years before I started with you. I couldn't tell you last time some of that stuff was in my house.
Yeah.
I don't eat fries. I really don't even eat sauces, like barbecue
Hmm.
sauce stuff. I just, I've completely changed. And it takes time, but if
Hmm.
you change it a day at a time, a meal at a time, a decision at a time, eventually you're not making a decision anymore. It's just what you do.
Just what you do,
But you got
right?
to give yourself the grace to mess up and start over.
Yep. Rome wasn't built in a day, right?
Nope, wasn't destroyed today either.
No. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, it's like one of those things, hey, you didn't get to where you are at today. It probably took years, probably decades even. It's not going to
Yeah,
happen overnight. But like you make one decision at a time, take it 1% better every day. Like that's really what it is. Just one decision, one step forward. I don't care if you're running, sprinting, walking, crawling, we're always moving one step forward.
I've, I
And
had bands made. Well, this one says discipline equals freedom, but I
yeah,
got
I
one
love that.
percent better bands that I
Yeah.
stick on, and just to remind myself, hey, just do something a little bit better today. You don't have to change the world today.
Right, right. One small decision at a time every single day just adds up. And I think what some people get confused about is you still make progress along the way. Like, yeah, you're not losing 30 pounds overnight, but maybe you lose 4 to 5, 6 pounds in a month. And like you do
Yeah,
that month over month for a year, maybe you're losing 52 pounds to 60 pounds in a year. And imagine your life being down that much and do it for 2 years, 3 years, 4 years. Then you have the rest of your life, right? You just invest in a couple of years. We always overestimate what we can do in a month or two, but we underestimate what we can really do in five. Like your life can be very different. Typically, it's pretty different year over year. Um, so
it's
I,
a long-term strategy. You don't get unhealthy overnight, and you're not going to get healthy overnight. You just got to make the changes today to help your tomorrow.
yeah, I love that. So this probably answers my last question I had for you. So it's okay if it's the same answer. But I
Yeah.
was going to say, what's one thing you wish more people understood about this whole journey to making lasting transformation?
Consistency over perfection.
Love that.
That's it. Make and you got to have some non-negotiables.
Hmm.
Okay, it's a non-negotiable that I have to have protein with every meal I eat, or I'm just not going to eat it.
Hmm.
And it's not even a thought anymore. It's just the way it is. I
Yeah.
have protein. If I have nothing else, I'll have eggs. I'll have steak, chicken. I'll have something.
Hmm.
But you got to be consistent and get rid of the all or nothing mentality. That's the biggest hurdle I got over. It was all or nothing.
Yeah. I love that. I love the idea of non-negotiables, right? You know,
Yeah,
again, it's such a funny conversation, right? I always come back to it's in the middle. It's we want to be flexible, but we also need to be disciplined, right? Like we have to
yeah,
take care of some things as well. It's like, yeah, eat the donut, but don't have 12 donuts. Don't eat the
yeah.
box of
That's it.
donuts. It's find that middle ground where it's like, hey, yes, enjoy life, but also take care of your health. Like have some non-negotiables that work for you, like walking,
Or
eating
you
protein.
can you got and sorry I may interrupt you, but
No, you're good.
when you said enjoy your life, uh, I've come to find after losing all this weight that eating Doritos ain't enjoying life.
Sure.
Eating a cheeseburger ain't enjoying life.
Hmm.
Being happy with your family and friends and people you care about, and being there for them. That's the joys of life.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. So true. It's looking at the things that really align with your values, like what makes you happy. And it's like, yeah, like the celebrations, birthday parties, what they are, like enjoy them. But what are the things you're going to remember one day? It's the family moments, being able to be with them, do stuff with them, be a part of the lives, help people out, make all these things happen. Those are the big rocks in life that truly make a difference. And I'm really happy to hear obviously your story. I'm glad we got to connect and everything on that, but it's
Yeah,
it's really inspiring to hear going from someone who was challenged with having the energy to be there for their family, friends, and kids to now living a life of not only just being there, which is incredible in itself, like having the energy to be there to help them to train. I know you're always training with your son and your nephew, like you said. I used to love when you guys send me pictures of you guys training together, both in your KPD Fit shirts. I love that as well. So I'm glad to hear that's still going on. But it's not only to be there, it's to be there for as long as you can too. And like
yeah,
making that change for yourself where you say it's like we're off of medication with diabetes, we're not even pre-diabetic. We're doing things in our life now that have truly changed. And I said this earlier, but losing the weight's cool, but when you can actually change your health and add years to your life, that's truly what this is all about. We're not like stepping on stage or trying to do anything cool from that standpoint. We're just really trying to live a high quality life for as long as possible.
yeah.
So,
Absolutely.
cool. Travis, is there anything else you wanted to share?
No, not really. Just it's a long journey. I mean,
Hmm.
I've been doing this for probably 5 years now, maybe longer than that. I don't know for sure. I'm not real good at keeping up with time. There's a lot of things that happen that set you back. Just don't give up.
Yeah.
You know, I've had. We talked about the year from hell last year. I had pancreatitis, two bouts of kidney stones. My dad got cancer, died. I mean, it was just one thing after another. It was a terrible year, but God got me through it. I gained maybe 20 pounds over that year, but I've already
Hmm.
got almost all that back off.
Hmm.
I did eat my feelings a little bit, but it also learned me I don't nearly as much eat my feelings anymore.
Hmm.
On the bad days now that I have, and I have bad days, uh, I don't, matter of fact, I don't really eat. The extra protein helps keep me fuller. I don't have the sweets like I'm supposed to, but just give yourself some grace and be patient as hard as it is because I'm not a patient person. But life's going to hit you just as soon as you start making progress. Just don't stop. Just keep going.
I love that. Well said. Well said, Travis. Well, I appreciate you, man. I appreciate you hopping on here, chatting for a little bit.
Oh, no
Um,
problem, brother.
you know, I'm always here if you ever need anything. I love you, dude. All
I'm here for you. I love you, brother.
right, appreciate you.